Hello, dear listeners, and thank you for choosing us once again. Welcome to Europeans at Heart, a podcast created and hosted by young European ambassadors in the European Union and United Kingdom. Today, we continue our series of interviews with the next young activist who will help us to get more insights into the devastating situation created in Ukraine, which is still happening right now, the impact that it's having, and how to keep yourself secured in front of the misinformation. Everyone, please meet Olesia. And hi, Olesia. Thank you for accepting to take part in this initiative. And I would like to further ask you to tell us more about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Olesia. I'm 21 and I'm Ukrainian. I'm from the western part of Ukraine, from the Lviv region. Lviv is a very beautiful Ukrainian city with European aspirations. And I graduated from the Faculty of International Relations in University of Warsaw. And almost a year ago, I started to study film direction in Ukraine. And before the war, I began to take my first steps in the industry. But the war made its correctives, and now I'm in Sweden and I'm mostly a volunteer.
I really heard lots of facts about Lviv, about how really beautiful it is, what an amazing cuisine it's having, all of this breathtaking landscapes that it can show to you, the wonderful architecture. I would really love to visit the city and to further contribute to the next coming step of tourists. I truly hope that this time will happen as fast as possible. And I hope to see you there. I really hope to see you there. How is doing, by the way, your town right now? Any casualties? How people are just keeping up with everything happening there?
Yes, at first I would say that you are very welcome to Ukraine. I think in the very soon victory. And as I said, Lviv is Western Ukraine, and in the west of Ukraine is mostly calm, except the fact that Russia started bombing there a few days ago. But these bombings cannot be compared to the rest of Ukraine, and there are no street fights, at least. Therefore, many immigrants from other parts of our country can find a safe place in the west of Ukraine. And these are mostly people who were lucky to escape the shelling, and people who were hiding for days and weeks in bomb shelters, people whose homes and the whole cities were destroyed by Russian occupiers.
I believe that you still keep a direct contact with those who are still in Ukraine, most probably the men from your family, I would assume so. Could you further tell us if there are some ways we can help the peaceful people of Ukraine? Because as I understand, there are still bombings in Lviv region, and not only, of course. What exactly they are bombing there? And really, yes, please comment how we can help. How we can help all of the peaceful people of Ukraine. What are the methods that we can, raise some funds, apply something, go to the borders, volunteer to some initiatives? Please tell us more.
Yes, as a part of my family, my relatives left in Ukraine, in my hometown. I have a contact with them. And about bombings, yes, they were bombing the territories around Lviv, and it was mostly oil depots. As you know, we have two borders on Western Ukraine. We have the border with Poland, with the European Union, and the border with Belarus. And as we know, Belarusian government right now, Lukashenko's government, supporting Putin's regime. And anytime they can start invasion from Russian territory. And it's dangerous, but we are prepared, and I can't say that it's safe at all in Ukraine, but most in Western Ukraine, but mostly yes. And as I have contact with my father, he is working with charitable foundation Caritas, and I'm a part of that foundation also. They are functioning in my town, and they are always telling about the needs of men who are frontline now, and the needs of civilians. And the Red Cross are collecting mostly humanitarian aid and medicine supplies. Yes, because people are killing every day, and big foundations, they are collecting help, but it takes time to deliver it. And you can help from every corner of the world. It's a lot of local volunteers in probably every city and every country. And if you want to donate, if you want to help somehow Ukraine, I recommend to donate to local volunteers and check the results of their work. Because here in Sweden, we are volunteering also, and we are collecting help for Caritas, for other men on front line and other civilians. And we have, for other Swedish listeners, we have a group called Ukraina Vännerna on Facebook, and we are collecting help there. And we are thankful for every support and for standing with us. And also, if you want to donate some bigger foundation, you can donate the foundation called Come Back Alive. Their site is comebackalive.com.in.ua, or otherwise to local volunteers.
I remember that you mentioned that right now you are in Sweden, and I wanted to ask you, how are you feeling there? Are you feeling accepted by the society there? And also, about the government regulations that are happening there? And for general, what's the reaction actually of the government and society in Sweden in the light of the current humanitarian refugee crisis in Ukraine? What are the measures that we are applying?
Yeah, I feel very welcome here, and I live now here with my friends who are from Ukraine also. And we feel very much support of people. Even other neighbors are coming and telling us the words of support and trying to help us make living and trying to help us with adaptation. Also, the government helps a lot. For example, you can apply for financial support if you are from Ukraine and you really need it. And you can apply for the European directive here about refugees of the war. And you can apply for it, and you can get the permission to stay in Sweden for 1 year or till the end of war. And then you get the permission for work here. And also we have here such things as free transport, free subway in Stockholm. People are standing with us. It means a lot.
I'm really happy that you're welcomed by the society in Sweden, and I truly hope that it's that everyone from the Ukrainian citizens are feeling the same way, and not just the Ukrainian citizens, but people that were living in Ukraine, because there were not just Ukrainians who are right now refugees after the situation happening right now. And I truly hope that we are feeling everywhere welcomed and well taken care of, as in such crisis situations we need really to help each other. We all know that currently a huge issue that somehow encourages the current situation and fuels it and actually help it to be raised like that is the propaganda that appears and the misinformation together with it. What are, in your opinion, the top mistakes that you think people should avoid while informing themselves about the current situation in Ukraine? And how can we understand what's trustworthy and what's not?
The first and very important thing is fact-checking. You need to check all the information which you want to post or the information that you just read, because you need to know can you believe it or not. You need to use your critical thinking also, because we had a case with Red Cross a few days ago. People were wondering, should they trust it or not? My recommendation is to donate better to local volunteers, but Red Cross is a very big charitable foundation, and Europeans are donating them a lot. But because the situation with Red Cross has more levels that it may seem that those claims. And Czech, Polish, German volunteers of Red Cross are currently working on Ukrainians' western borders. And these are people who really help Ukrainian refugees. And on the other hand, there is the international community of the Czech Republic, which is in change finances, and a considerable part of the process goes to the office support. Yes, you need to look from different sides on that. Also, if you want to donate Red Cross, I recommend to donate Red Cross Ukraine, because they are showing the results of their work. Otherwise, donate to such funds as Save Life in UA. We had another case with Russian journalist Maria Ovsannikova on Russian governmental channel with that performance against war. And a lot of Ukrainians started to post it, and a lot of people in the whole world. But you need to look at the situation from the different sides, because now we can see that this journalist is talking on Italian channels to minimize the sanctions for civilians, for Russian people. And we don't know if it was a good prepared action. In these cases, you need to check everything, because even if you go on Wikipedia and check something about that case, you won't find true and trustworthy information. We have a very big informational war right now, and you need to remember this all the time if you're watching Russian news. I recommend to believe the independent media and to check facts and to use your critical thinking.
I wanted to say, also to add that in the most of the situations, like I think it's 99.9% of situations, we see that independent media are accusing the Russian governmental statements on the war, and they're naming it as a propaganda, what they are stating all the time. So I think that's a fact that really need to take into consideration, and to be really very attentive at what we are listening and from which side we are listening and which side we are trusting in everything this. And about fact checking, I wanted also to add that it's very important in the fact checking, for example, to see the source from where this information is coming, to see the first coming source of the information, because there are some times when a website is saying, okay, I'm citing this website, and the other website will say, like, I'm citing the other website, and we really need to see the essential source of one information to really see how trustable it is. You need to check the author over pieces of information that this author is having, and also his career, for example, this, and the time when it was posted. Like, these are like quite simple things, but it can really help you to see this is something trustable or not. I saw also like something new rising as a concept, as an answer to some practices on the social media in the reposted posts, reposted information of some people. So it became quite popular. What about this? Which is actually a conversational tactic in which a person responds to an argument or attack by changing the subject to focus on someone else's misconduct. So we really need to be attentive to not really do this kind of whataboutism as a conventional tactic in the things that we are showing to the community around. We really need to understand the essence of all the problems and which problems are comparable and which aren't, and to take every situation by situation, like one by one. Honestly, I'm really super happy to hear you today with us, Olesia. I'm wishing you all the best, to you, to your family, and to your brave nation, which totally deserves this. Thank you for being with us today. And dear listeners, if you want to get involved in the volunteering activities regarding Ukraine, just know that this is totally worth your time and every action matters. Don't forget to keep safe in the media space. Always be attentive to the potential fake news and propaganda. Further check the principles of fact-checking and share them with your community. We would appreciate a lot your encouragement by subscribing and following us on our Instagram and Facebook pages, which will be named as EU Neighbors East. Stay tuned for the next episodes and have a pleasant time near your loved ones. We should appreciate it, every bit of it. Bye!